But hey, this race is about to start, ladies and gentlemen. Stand up on the bank and give these guys all your support you can.
Right, here we go. Let's get Brad to take it away. Great to catch up here with Johnny Hepburn.
Lights are out, and Steph Devereaux got a great start. I think it was a quite touch and go whether he was gone before the lights, but nevertheless, he's out in the moment. So Seth Devereaux leads them out into Castrol. The double apex left-hander, they head down out of there and onto the back straight. It is Seth Devereaux with his head down and gone already. So Seth Devereaux trying to stretch out a little advantage. Got a great jump of the line. Dale Finch in second with Ashen Hughes on the triumph, pulling up alongside him. Looks to be the Mad Love Media Carl Cox black bike of Toby Summers there in fourth place with David Hall and Avalon Biddle in fifth and sixth there as they head out the northern end of the circuit.
All right, keen to update as we get wild about it. And down here, this corner they call McKissick, Johnny. It's just the most beautiful corner. I call it the question mark, doesn't it? It just goes round and round and round. And there's actually really sort of 3 or 4 different parts to that corner. It's not just one big curve.
Correct, it's got 3 apexes in it. There's a big dive down into the hairpin there now. But going back around McKissick, the fastest way around there on a bike is you lose the front, pull it back with your knee, lose the front, pull it back with your knee. And once you get your head around that and don't get it wrong, it's awesome. But look at the lead Seth's got. I hope he hasn't got a jump start because he is absolutely flying. He wants this big time.
All right, so we'll find out whether there's time penalty go up here on the board. I'll be talking about it, looking at it at the moment. And obviously it's being debated and talked about. And as Johnny says, let's give him the benefit of the doubt and hope it's not the case. And let's go with it at the moment. And looking out for that time there by Seth at a 1:06.9, and keen just to see how these times are going. Remembering these bikes are more stock than they've been in the past. We've had 600s and for that matter superbike racing that has allowed a lot of development, and now I'm trying to make this affordable and the right reason, getting more bums on seats in all politeness and more people on the racetrack. It does allow them to be a bit level. So John, with both superbikes and now the super sport, we're actually seeing a less capable bike by production standard, but yet it's still doing better than before. So it really is telling us the level of the riding is being raised.
Oh, correct, and there's some fantastic riders out there, and there's a new breed coming through, taking over as the others move into into superbike, which is fantastic to see. But Seth Devereaux, I don't know what he ate last night, but what he's got it right this time. Mind you, it is early in the race.
Yeah, for Seth it is indeed, as we get a Brad update on the Ctas Live.
Yeah, Seth Devereaux in through and out of the bus stop. He will cross the line, lap 2 down and 18 to go. Toby Summers already up into second place, so he won the first 2 races on Saturday. Had an off on the first one this morning, but he is already in second place and he will be looking to charge after Seth Devereaux. We look to Dale Finch on the Helicraft MV Augusta there in front of Ashen Hughes. That's 3rd and 4th. David Hall and Avalon Biddle are right there in 5th and 6th as well. So we have an awesome little fight there for 3rd place as they in 2 to 3 wide as they head into the John Jones Steel left-hander. But it looks like Dale Finch has done enough to hang on to that 3rd place.
John, you were making the comment yesterday with regards to Avalon Biddle. We've proved it in her heyday when she was the best in the world, and she runs along with these guys here. But you're a connoisseur of watching quality racing. Just how good you can tell people that Avalon is.
Oh, unbelievably. She has not got the fastest bike here. Like Aussie's bike, it's a fantastic percentage bike, but it's a few years old now, and technology's caught up. But you watch her come out of that bottom corner, her mid-corner speed, it's unbelievable. It's the fastest out there by a long, long way. She's absolutely flying, and she's got good racecraft too, so you never count her out.
All right, great to watch and great comments coming here from super sponsor John Hepburn from Timaru Metal Recyclers as we watch this Super Sport 600 Super Stocks in there as well. Remembering the Super Stock to add in perspective as well, and keen to see whether we've actually got an update. Yes, we have, with Dylan out there, and he's running in a 10th place there at the moment. So we're keen to look out. In fact, we've got a new fastest time. You're keeping an eye on it there, Johnny?
Yeah, Toby Summers is on a move. He's actually pulling in Seth Devereaux right now with the 1:04.9. I think that is. My eyes aren't as good as they used to be, but it's a fantastic time for lap 3.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. So David Hall just had a little bit of a mishap. He's run off the back straight. So David Hall fighting bike problems all day today, and he's parked it up. So David Hall out of this one. So we'll interested to find out what's happened to David there as we see the fight. Seth Devereaux still in front, but look at Toby Summers. He's reeling that gap in. I reckon Toby Summers, fastest man on track. He's definitely coming for him. We see Dale Finch in there in 3rd with Avalon Biddle now up into 4th. So not sure what's happened to Ashen Hughes. He's not there as we can see it. No, there he is. He's in 3rd. So it's Dale Finch that's dropped back behind Avalon. So Ashen Hughes carries on his good weekend in 3rd place with Avalon right there in 4th.
Well, Avalon's done extremely well to have bounced away right into there, and it's come at the expense of the other riders. Had a little bit of bad luck, including those those that have dropped off the results at the moment, including the unlucky David Hall, and big thanks as well to Spider and Rachel for getting behind David's racing. Nice to see other people getting out there to support these guys. A lot of people, you can see the talent, you know how well they're going, you understand they've got a bit of a restriction with their budget, and people are dipping in pockets and saying, hey, we can lend a hand and get you on a racetrack. And that's what we want to see with the whole lot of the South Islanders. We want to see an absolute avalanche coming to the North Island for the 3 rounds coming up through March and April. And if there is any need that you know that finance will make a difference, but don't be shy, put your hand up and get people in behind you and hopefully get you there. And what we did with Underground Brown and bringing the truck up a couple of years ago was just fantastic, and maybe that can happen again. So do it early and just say, hey, we could get to the North Island, we need some support, how do we go about raising some money? And I'm sure a lot of good people will get in behind you, and that's exactly what John Hepburn did when he helped out the likes of Clark Fountain to get over to try that effectively World Rookies that we had our Asian affair over there in Malaysia just last year, and John effectively got him behind a stranger and somebody that you just spotted John on the Jixer and thought, well, I want to support somebody to go over there, and there was a young man that you saw with a chance to see whether he could go better in his life.
Oh, definitely. I met him here last year. I was watching him, and he's a Greymouth boy, so he's a good South Island boy, and I thought he was a good wee rider, which he certainly is. 3 podiums, I think, here this weekend. Is that correct? Yeah, so it's good to get. It's very hard for those boys to go over there, but it's part of a big picture, because long term, hopefully, they do get to race overseas, and they've got some idea of what happens. And it's not only just the racing and how they go in the racing; it's the whole learning how to treat the sponsors and all that sort of thing. And he's done a fantastic job. So. But getting back to this race, old Toby Summers is putting the pressure on Seth now up the top end there, which is cool to see. And you also see Avalon Biddle coming up through the field as she does. Toby has a big dive in at the hairpin, not quite enough. I think Seth's making that bike pretty wide. It's early in the race to be doing that, Neil.
All right, indeed, we've got a big one, of course, with the 20-lapper as well for these guys, so could tyre wear become a factor for this? But here we are. This is the Toby Summers fight back. There he is on the Carl Cox Motorsport ZX6 Kawasaki on the charge, and behind the Underground Brown Mega Motorcycle Centre Triumph Daytona, and there the triple versus the 4 600 versus 675cc, and there is the battle, and look at that from Toby at the moment, but he's got to stay on the bike to do it. This could be the first race that we get these two going hammer and tong for the entire race, because when yesterday when Toby was having some good luck, we had Seth having not as good a luck, and then of course this morning Toby had the off when Seth had the good luck. But it'd be great to say at the end of the day, well, they finally went for the ultimate match at the end of the day and fought out a good battle. Yeah,
and still a massive 14 laps to go, so definitely a whole lot of things are going to come into factor. This is their 4th race of the weekend, the 600. They got a bonus race from carried over from Ruapuna, so these guys will be knackered, and still 14 laps to go. Toby Summers doing a wonderful job, just right all over the back of Seth, and we've seen already this weekend that Toby has the X factor when it comes to overtaking manoeuvres.
All right, keen to watch him, and John, we're blessed with the opportunity to watch it here on the Ctas live screen, so we're seeing it a little bit like a spectator locally, and then seeing it on a screen. As always, the screen, it just doesn't do it the justice of the intensity of the racing. And these guys are going for it. We could call this world-class racing in Little Down Under.
Yeah, it definitely is. I pulled quite a big lead there at the moment, but I see Avalon's back into 3rd place there now, so she hopefully will be able to pull that back in. Being a little bit lighter, she should look after it. Well, I know she looks after her tyres very well. The boys out the front are going, but they've been pushing pretty hard, low 5s and high 4s. Might make a difference in the last 5 laps of the race.
Yeah, we see them there head down at the back straight and into the John Jones Steel left-hander. It is still Seth Devereaux in charge ahead of Toby Summers, and then we go back to Avalon Biddle, who still can't quite shake off Ashen Hughes, having a great weekend. Ashen in 4th place with Dale Finch right there in 5th place. And we go back to Nathan Jane on the Barnes Jenkins Suzuki. He's having a good ride in 6th with Jordan Burley and Dylan Telford right there as well. So great field of racing here in the Super Sport 600, brought to you by Timaru Metal Recyclers, and Seth Devereaux definitely still doing enough to hold off Toby Summers as we see them heading onto the front part of the circuit.
Just to pick up there that David Hall has rejoined the race now. We understood that he had a steering dampener problem yesterday, put on a brand new steering dampener today, only to have a further problem and to have not been able to get around the corner and gone wide, and he did not crash, and that's why he's been able to rejoin the race. So he's had maybe a continuation of that problem, or something similar that has certainly seen him, shall we say, having a serious penalty back on racing. And in fact, he's not even been able to wind up along that back straight. And look at that. He's got a problem there that he thought, hey, he thought I could rejoin the race, and he's now almost like got egg on his face, because there is still something wrong, and he's having the common sense to put his arm up and pull way out of the race. And that, oh, in fact, no, well, maybe, no, hold on, all of a sudden I'm going to eat my words, because he was saying, I just wanted to get right out of your way. He probably couldn't get up to as quick a speed as the other, and he thought, rather than try and hold the others up, I'll get right out of their way and then join it after they've gone. But whatever the reason, that guy's a good sport and showing some etiquette out there. John, that's all you want in a rider that's not having as good a day as you, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so, but I think there might be a bit more to that one than we can see what's going on. There's a really good dice for third place here at the moment. These three are going hammer and tong through the hairpin right now. Front two have settled down. I think they're just playing a bit of a cat and mouse game. Toby's sitting there sussing out what Seth's doing, and hey, Seth will be all over the track and he'll be talking to himself flat out because he can't shut up at any stage, and he'll be going hard. Avalon's holding third place over Ashton Hughes and Dale Finch, but they're absolutely going hard at it, but they're probably holding each other up a little bit at the moment.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Johnny. I think Avalon there, she's managed to get into third but hasn't been able to shake it. Now Dale Finch has caught right up and made that a full-on trio. So those three there, the more they fight, the more the two in front are going to head off with this one. But it is still Seth Devereaux, the Underground Brown Heat Miser, Mega Motorcycles Centre, Repsol Oils Triumph, heads down the northern end and into the McKissick Curve. Toby Summers, the Mad Love Media, Carl Cox Motorsport, R&R Power Sports, Kawasaki in second place, and then that awesome trio in behind them battling for third with Avalon ahead of Ashton and Dale. So great ride all over the field, and we still have 11 laps to go as we watch the leaders. They head into the hairpin, and it is still Seth heading out of the hairpin, but yeah, Toby just settled in behind him and just having a look at where he can pass, and this is going to be a big 10 laps still to go as they cross the line.
I'm keen to talk about this next big group, because all right, let's add names here like Roy Walker-Holt. He's been into 650 Pro Twin Racing, a smaller class, now stepping up. Regan Phipps last year on the podium a number of times on the IMD bike as well in that Super Light / 250 lineup. So he's there up. He's in 10th at the moment. Tarbin Walker, hell, the guy was only in Jixers last year and he's gone straight into 600. What about Roman Rajcik as well in there? The Vista Light Central Windows and Doors man out of Taupo. He's in there in 12th place. Rob Whittle, the guy's had an Aprilia Twin and he's stepped up to 600 racing. John Crawford, our friends from Invercargill on the Southern Suzuki GSXR 600 in there in 14th place. So there all of a sudden we've just knocked out 6 names of people that have just arrived in the sport and they're already able to rack up times. Look at this from John Crawford for example. A time in here at the moment of 1:11's the best times of 1:05's, only 6 seconds off it, and it's only their first full year, second sort of bit year that they've come along board. So this is the growing and exciting part of our sport.
Yeah, and he's not a real young man anymore either. His dad's a good bugger. He was one of my sponsors from down south, and he owns a Suzuki shop down there, Southern Suzuki, and they were avid sponsors of road racing for many, many years. There's Gary and Liz from the Honda shop down there, really top Invercargill people.
Yeah, great to see. All right, so there's some of our new names. We just, all the time, we're inclined, it's a natural thing to talk about our heroes, the people up front, that's where the glory is. But don't rule out the fact that the reason we've got a 20-strong field in 600 is because we've got some very good riders in around that 9, 10, 11 and 12 mark, as Brad's been watching the fight going on, and back there with Ctas Live.
Yeah, we've still got the update with Seth Devereaux in the lead as they head down the back straight. They've got a massive gap. They've got 3/4 of the back straight. Toby Summers still in second, but then Avalon Biddle, the 3 on her bike, and third in the race with Ashton Hughes in behind her in 4th. And then go back to Dale Finch, who's still right on that little 3-way fight as well. So great ride from those 3. Then we have Nathan Jane. A good ride from Nathan. This is one of his better performances so far this year with Jordan Burley. His bike blew up in qualifying, so he's been on the borrowed bike and doing well. And Dylan Telford on the super stock MV Augusta. So a great ride there from Dylan as well as we catch up with our leaders heading out of the hairpin, out of the right-hander, and into the bus stop. So they've got lap traffic to contend with. So this was always going to play a big part of this race. So Toby Summers right up the inside of Seth Devereaux into turn 1. And I think he's got it done. So Toby Summers into the lead of this one. So he's waited till 8 laps to go, and now he's pounced. So Toby Summers in charge of this one as they head around Castrol. Toby Summers had all the luck here yesterday, and now leads down the back straight ahead of Seth Devereaux.
Wow, there he goes, and the fact that he's gone in front as well, he started to pull out a buffer. That one, isn't that brilliant, John, because you could actually see the race cars. You could almost follow his body English. You knew he was going to do a dab then, didn't you?
Oh, definitely. He started that manoeuvre coming out of the hairpin, and he got the good drive out of the left-hander after that, and he come in through there, held back through the fast right-hander in the middle of those S's. He nailed it, so he was on the inside line coming out of here. He also knew he had to do it then, because there was lap traffic coming up. If you can put a lapper in between you and second place, it's a big advantage.
Wow, there we go. Talking about it, racecraft, and Johnny Hepburn's just outlined it completely. And now that he's got in front, he's opened out a little bit of a buffer. But I tell you what, Brad, Avalon Biddle, man, is she working for that third today?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. She's just trying to break ahead of Ashen Hughes, and Ashen's got to go defensive because Dale Finch is now coming on the back of him. So definitely playing to the hands of Avalon Biddle, who's just trying to stretch out that advantage over the two behind her. So Avalon Biddle with about an 8 bike length advantage in third place, but the battle on track, Ashen Hughes and Dale Finch on the Helicraft or MV Augusta. And then we head down out of Castro in the back straight, and Toby Summers definitely stretching out that advantage. So he's got ahead of Seth, and he is in the lead at the moment, heading into the John Jones Steel left-hander with Seth Devereaux back behind him. Avalon Biddle in third, with Ashen Hughes and Dale Finch down the back straight at the moment. So a great little fight there. We catch Nathan Jane ahead of Jordan Burley. So Jordan, even on the borrowed bike, is still doing really well there. We go back and look for Dylan Telford, the first of the Superstock boys coming out of Castro at the moment.
All right, Johnny, you've been watching what's happening?
I don't know. It's been pretty exciting up here. Toby's just pulled a bit of a gap on Seth, which is real cool, but there were some lappers in the road there that we were a bit concerned about. We got through on them now. Avalon's putting in a good race, but I just like Aussie, who supplies her the bike, and Palmerston North boy, used to be Craig Sheriff's mechanic. I remember him and Craig spending time with me in England when we were over at the Isle of Man, and they were living in a poor buggers in a bus, and they'd come back to us to Sheffield and stay with my sponsor at the time, Mick. Yeah, just a hell of a good guy that's given so much to the sport over the years.
Yeah, indeed, a great guy, of course, and as well as that, he still holds down a full-time job, and then at nights and in the weekends, he's working on bikes. He's doing his Aussie performance part, so if you're looking to know how to go faster on the racetrack, Avalon Biddle hasn't chosen him just because he's a good-looking guy, chosen him because he's got that racing advantage. So let's go right, and here we go. Look at Avgas, isn't she incredible, and great to watch her. The fastest woman in the world on two wheels, undoubtedly Avalon Biddle, and she was able to do it in those years gone by. Unfortunately, not the budget to go and do it again now, but when we look at those women that are racing at the moment, to me, still not of the league that Avalon was at the time, so I'm still calling her the fastest woman in the world, and if any other commentator wants to go and challenge it, will give us the facts, and we'll sit down and have a good discussion about it, because she is exactly that. And to see her win races here in New Zealand, what about through the Suzuki series, with people like Demon Damo, who was on fire in that class? She was not too far off the pace of that, and to watch the way she's riding, and as Johnny's picked it up, to watch her style of riding and how good she is to conserve tyres and take the speed with it. Although she's under threat there at the moment, John, you still think she can hold the other two out?
Oh, definitely. She's pulled a gap now. Whoa, a big moment on a lap going into the S's there. Ashton Hughes just absolutely on the limit through there. That was very, very close. But yeah, no, Avalon's definitely got a big enough gap now. She's got third place. The only thing that can muck that up is probably herself at the moment, which I doubt if she'll make a mistake.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Brad's still watching that battle. We've gone out to 1.2. No, in fact, we've gone to 3.2. God blimey, that has just absolutely exploded in Toby's favour. What's he done right, or is it you think maybe something that Seth's done wrong?
No, I think Toby's just got the pace there. He's just ridden a really good race. He just sat him behind Seth and found out where he could make the move. And now we see the real class of Toby Summers out in front of this one and well in control. He's out of the hairpin and already into the left-hander, so Seth just coming out of the hairpin now. A massive 3-second advantage. So Toby Summers into the bus stop on the Carl Cox Motorsport Mad Love Media R&R Power Sports Kawasaki. He was the dominant display here yesterday, and now carries on with that. Just a little bit of a hiccup in the race this morning, but he's had a pretty good weekend.
You also look at Toby, he's just banging out those numbers. His lap before last was a 1:49, this one's a 1:05.1. Seth Devereaux's obviously done something to his tyres, or he's not fit, which I don't believe because he looks pretty fit. He's doing 1:06, so he's pulling over a second a lap on him every lap. It makes it very, very easy.
There we go, we've got another one of their riders. In fact, has that still been another problem for David out there? Because he's gone sped up and then he slows down, he puts his hand up and he puts the throttle on again. So
maybe they need to look at the tip-over sensor, because every time he comes out of that bottom corner, that's when it's happening.
All right, yeah, good point, Johnny. You know about those. In fact, somebody saying yesterday that a bike wasn't performing correctly, and then somebody asked all the right questions. What about sensor for this and a sensor for that, and the way the bike was performing, and just not quite right indeed. So but there you go, could be a legitimate reason for that. So there you go, Toby, Seth and Avalon are the top three. What about Dale Ashton and Nathan behind him? Somebody like Nathan Jane up there. Jordan Burley, debut year for that man as well. So Nathan and Jordan have been winners in other classes before, but they're right there where it counts as well.
Yeah, so Royd Walker Holt is into pit lane, so unfortunately the central Vistalite window systems Kawasaki there in the pit lane, so we're not sure what's happened there. We'll have to try and get the update, but it is still Toby Summers He's already down out of the back straight, and a massive 6-second advantage back to Seth Devereaux, who's just probably consolidating that second place. He's got a decent enough buffer back to third with only 3 to go.
Look, Johnny, when I look at somebody like Toby Summers, as much as he's quite a tall guy, I look at the aerodynamics. He can tuck down in behind that bike. When you look at the bike, the fairing is the highest part of it. Yet you look at somebody like Seth, and he's not able to crouch down enough over it. Whether that's the bike styling of a bigger tank, unsure of that. But they've got to make milliseconds of difference, and Toby is so elite and so sleek on that bike as well.
Definitely, he's an absolutely racing sardine, isn't he? He is quite tall, but there is not 1 ounce of fat on there. He's just tucked in. But neither is Seth, to be honest. It's just different build and different types of bikes, different riding styles too of how far they tuck down. But yeah, Toby certainly gets down underneath that bubble on the back straight. But that Triumph's very fast up the back straight with Seth not being tucked in quite as that. It's a very fast bike, so and he's riding it well. It's good to see.
Oh, indeed, they're going to go to the North Island, and that should, in theory, be a bit of a benefit for Toby. But the positiveness of what Seth is carrying around here at the moment, and some good people behind him, he won't be out of place too much in the North Island tracks, I don't feel.
Oh, he's done enough of them, you know. He's been riding. I'm picking close to 10 odd years now. He's been round, and he's had some big bins, but he knows each corner intimately, one would say. But I think he'll go fine up the North Island, and he's just starting to get his confidence back, to be honest, because he's beaten himself. He had a big concussion there about 3 months ago from a high side at Ruapuna, and that takes a little bit of coming back from. So, but as I said, Seth will still be talking away under his helmet out there, going hammer and tong.
All right, Brad's been watching at Ctas Live and give us all the updates, and looking out for it, the Toby, Seth and Avalon show. But anybody else in there to make a move? Is Avalon what sort of threat she's under, or is she looking better than before, Brad?
No, the gap from first to second is a pretty steady one, and then the back from second to third also a steady one. So a great performance. Toby Summers, I can't say enough about it. He's out of the bus stop and gets the white flag. So 1 lap to go. Toby Summers, absolutely brilliant display. We haven't seen this kind of domination in any of the classes so far. So for Toby Summers to do this, Seth Devereaux in second, he'll be wrapped just to be back on the podium. Avalon Biddle, probably not the step of the podium she wanted to be on, but that's consistent results and awesome stuff for her. Then we go to Ashton Hughes and Dale Finch. They've had a battle, a 20-lapper. They've just been hammering tongs together the whole time. So just a great field of 600 super sport action, and just can't say enough about Toby Summers.
Here indeed, all right, courtesy of Timaru Metal Recyclers, and proud to be behind this racing. John, for many times you've been a sponsor of Superbikes, but as if now with your interest of supporting the Reeves boys, who you've nursed since they were babies and nappies at events all around the country, as you followed your best mate Tony in racing, lovely wife Vicky, and of course mother of the boys. But now it's quite nice to support this class because you have an involvement in the other class, but you can sit here and actually watch this class without having that almost family attraction.
Yeah, I think so, and I think Ramage just wanted me to do this class because it was easier to put my name there, so it doesn't really matter. It's just to support the club, and it's a really cool thing. But an absolute fantastic race. Good on you, Toby Summers, as he takes a checkered flag.
Yeah, and look at that, and a fist pump to go with it as well. That's the kind of light we want to see. You see it with some animated riders on the world scene. Why not in New Zealand as well? Well done to Seth. Exactly, he's happy, and so should Avalon be. I don't know whether she'll... No, see, doesn't show as much excitement. I'm going to ask her if she's scared of heights, because she can't seem to get up onto that big podium as number one. She takes the smaller step up to 3. But what about that when you look at that internationally and you have a woman there in 3rd place? Yeah, that's the kind of stuff we want to see. Good man, Toby. He's excited. Aren't they 3 awesome riders to have on our podium at the end of the day, John, as well? Not just as good pure riders, but as people as well.
Oh, definitely, and it's good to see that with a change of guard, new championship, new season, and yeah, I wish them all the best for the rest of the season, as I do all the other competitors here.
Well done. Thank you very much, John. Pleasure. Yeah, great to have him. Wow. Timaru Metal Recyclers, John Hepburn. The knowledge that man has got is just fantastic. Yes, we'll be at trackside. Coming up, indeed, is our podium for the class as we acknowledge this amazing list of sponsors that bring us the racing, including DHL, your courier logistics specialist, and global, of course, at that, with Suzuki, a way of life, Yamaha revs your heart, ICG, creative content and print, along with Carl Cox Motorsport. Thank you to Gavin and the team. Your support is endless, and we appreciate it so much. Pirelli, power is nothing without control. The world's most brilliant tyre, as used by World Supers and used as the most popular tyre here on the racetracks in New Zealand. Along with Honda and the CRV, our medical car with more power, more torque, more tech and more space. And Resine Automotive and Light with Ctas Live MXT and Bike Rider magazines. To your favourite magazine, right available here in New Zealand. Bike Rider, check it out.
All right, here's your update with the Supersport 600. Toby Summers, Seth Devereaux, Avalon Biddle as your podium. Dale Finch managed to get up into 4th place over Ashton Hughes for 5th, and then go back to Nathan Jane ahead of Jordan Burley. So that's your top 6 guys. Awesome stuff. The podium. We'll cross down to Neil. He'll have our podium with Toby Summers. An awesome performance. Well done to Toby. Seth Devereux, he'll be very pleased with the second place, and Avalon Biddle in third. We'll cross down to Neil.
Well, just as we're waiting for these three riders, I spot Dennis Charlotte with a smile on his face, still in his leathers. He's got a couple of races to go, and he sits there. He's been there and done that in 600 racing. A real changing of the guard. You see the smiles on their faces. Dennis, what does it feel like for you to see these new guys coming along?
Oh, it's amazing, really. And, you know, like for myself, building bikes like these, the Triumph was the big underdog a couple of years ago. And, you know, we built these bikes up, and Jake Lewis went on it last year, and you know, handing it over to Seth this year, and it's like handing the baton over and taking it over again.
Yeah, lovely words, good word. Nice to have you with us. Thank you for that. So there you go. Dennis Charlotte, multi-champion, 125 GP, 250 GP, 250 production, 300 Super Sport, Pro Twins, 600 Super Sport and Super Bikes. Man, how's that for a championship list? And he's still got two more to do, and that's potentially what he's riding for here this year. So great to see. Here we go. Oh, look at that. Slaps around, high fives around. These guys are loving it. We are too. And how about that? 2 Kawasaki's and a Triumph make your podium. Would you see that in the world too much? I think it's just fantastic. Yes, indeed. Underground Brown Mega Motorcycle Centre, Carl Cox Motorsport and MTF Finance, the three major sponsors of these three great bikes that we've got up here at the moment. So nice to see. All right, so my question for you, Avalon, is are you scared of heights? Is that step a bit too far?
No, definitely not. I mean, that's definitely the goal for us, but it's been a tough weekend. Yeah, we came on Wednesday and tore tyres and struggled with bike setup, so my mechanic Aussies turned the thing upside down for me, and these are by far my best results here in Timaru, so I'm really happy. It's a really physical track on the 600 and super hard work for me, so yeah, thanks to all my sponsors and all my supporters for giving me a bike that I can at least put on the podium.
Right, but hey, 20 laps, how tough is that as well?
Yeah, it wasn't, to be honest, it wasn't as difficult as I expected. I've done a lot of training and I think I had the fitness. I just didn't quite get the start and got held up, and yeah, there were just bikes everywhere. So I think a little bit of luck with some guys breaking down and crashing, but I'll take it. It's good points for the championship. You will, and you totally deserve to as well. Nice to see. All right, here we go. Let's find out about the race. These guys are still talking up here. Very rude to be talking over the lady there, but that's another story. But more importantly, Seth, what answers have you got for him? Because for half the race you had it, then he got you.
Yeah, what you're forgetting is Toby only did half as many laps as us today. I did that yesterday, had a lie down, then struck back in the second one, and this morning he gave half the race away so that he could get, you know, he was hoping this was a GP, but he's come unstuck.
Oh, mate, you had an answer every time. In the words of Johnny Hepburn, a sponsor of the class and a supporter of you in the past as well, what he was saying up there is that Seth will be talking himself to death out there with going on with the race and talking under your helmet. Is that what it's like for you out there? You just got the whole race and you're telling yourself what you got to do at the right time and place?
I spent the whole lap telling myself just to keep it together, the whole race. I mean, from like, the pit board kept having zeros on it, which meant that someone was right behind me, and I kept having a look at the hairpin and there was no one there, but it wasn't until Toby got past that I saw he runs a really wide line into there. It was like, are the boys trying to make me push? I couldn't work out, you know, what was going on, but, you know, I mean, the bike was awesome. I mean, if one of these guys were on it, they would have just checked out, but yeah, I'm just not bike fit enough, you know. I need to go home and do some homework and get in the gym and do something different, you know, because I've just been, you know, building bikes, building the pits, building everything else instead of actually training. So hats off to them. They put in the work and deserve the results. I was off the front row, they were off mid-pack, you know, they earned those results.
Great to see. All right, North Island events coming up, so what are you going to do between now and Motorspest in March?
As much seat time and training time as I can get. Hey, earlier there was a few people I forgot to mention. Linda and Ross Young, every time I come to Timaru, they just put me up. They're awesome. Couldn't love them more.
Well done, nice to see you. All right, to Toby. Well, if I'm talking to Avalon, he's having a chat with Seth. If I'm talking with Seth, he's having a chat to Avalon, and we'll see if this little short bloke can get up there to join him. Well done to Toby. Man, oh man, what an amazing race. A little bit of a sit down in that last one, but he had to come back and win again. So 3 out of 4, is that good enough?
Yeah, it's good. I think I'm leading, so I'm happy. Yeah, just a small error on the first race this morning. Just running a bit hot, and I'd made some adjustments on my clutch, and it didn't pay off clearly because I was grass cutting in. I fell over there, and I rode down to the back corner and watched the race, and it seemed like it went on and on, and then it was still going, and it was still going, and I was like, oh yeah. So yeah, so I was a bit upset about that, and then yeah, tried to make a comeback in that one. I got Seth pulled away. Seth pulled a real good gap straight away, and that was good for me because it gave me a challenge to put the foot down and close on him. And then by the time I got there, I could. It wasn't easy sitting behind him, but I was pretty comfortable just cruising there. And then saw the 10 laps to go, 8 laps, then made the pass, done a few quick laps, got the gap that I was comfortable with, and then. Yeah, just brought it home for the 3rd win of the weekend. Yeah, it's just disappointing we didn't get 4 wins, but I'm really surprised at myself. And yeah, just a big thanks to Carlcox Motorsport, Mad Love Media. Darren is here for super finishing. If you want anything polished, go and see him. You just look at his head and see how shiny that is. And R&R Power Sports for making the engine quick. So yeah, big thanks and congrats. Well done for Seth. That was a good race of his, and a real good race. We've had the state of their tyres when they come in. And compared to mine, so it's all that setup that I go through, you know, it's so high tech than my setup, but we can't discuss that. Thank you.
Hey, let's hear it, aren't they? 3 awesome riders. Here they are in person, so well done. Super